He's bluffing, but he's doing it with a hand that can continue pretty well should Darren call in position. And here with King Jack, it does look like Darren wants to make the call.
Nice pot brewing here.
Modest is smiling at the possibility of these two playing a stack-sized pot.
Followed by David Baker and now Mattis Cymbalis. With an ace-6 is just calling into four-time WPT champ Darren Elias with an awful 10-3.
And Darren is going to turn some of his worst hands in the big blind into bluffs pre-flop and just try and end it. But here that won't work against Mattis and his ace-6.
And the flop is a 6-6-4, only getting better for Mattis, 3 of a kind. And he's going to trap.
And Darren actually has a pretty good flop to bet here.
Easy for you to say.
But as we know, it's going to go very poorly against Mattis and his trips.
750.
So he's going to lower in the boom, which is kind of surprising. He might chase away Darren, of course, instead of just calling and maybe getting one more bet or making Darren perhaps catch something. Darren is acting like he needs a little time for this decision. We know better than that.
Strange use of the time bank from Darren. As you said, he has a nothing hand. Not the type to waste time, but there he's going to slide his cards into the muck.
Darren's trying to pretend like he was pretty solid. I'm going to waste one of these clocks. I know I'm going to fold, but I don't want to give away what a junk hand I was betting. Action going to, they call him ODB, Old Dave Baker. And he's going to raise with a king, deuce of hearts. Darren with a queen, jack has made the call. Flop queen, 9-7, great for Darren.
Not a great flop for David to continuation bet too frequently. He's going to fire out once here.
Darren just okie dokie Uncle Call. Going to the turn. 6 of diamonds.
And that is a better card for Darren's range than David's. So he does check back there. And we get a 10 on the river. And now Darren likely to bet. No, he opts to check it over to David and see if he can get him to bluff. He just has king high, no pair, no draw. It's hard to get to this river with a worse hand than this, really.
David's going to try to bluff this hand with king high, 550.
This check from Darren has really worked out. No way that David was calling a bet with king high. But he's got him to put in an extra 550,000 with it.
And so there's the call.
You got it. King high.
Darren Elias, 4-time WPT champion.
Listen.
Former lifeguard, water polo player, takes down this pot.
Nobody at this table wants to see Darren accumulate chips again. He came in with a substantial chip lead and pretty much stood pat for a while as players fell away, but also didn't force things.
Blinds are going up to 50 and 100 with the big blind ante of 100 as well. Mattis Cymbalis, 25-year-old with ace-5. And make it 250 to go. Darren takes a breather. Dave Baker from Arizona. Loves to go to the Commerce Casino. Says he goes down there about 200 days a year. That's a big drive from Phoenix.
Must be worth it then. Huge flop for David here.
David checks.
Modest technically in the lead, but David way ahead in terms of equity in this hand. He diamond, king, 10, 9, 8 would give him the winning hand. And he's going to check raise here. And that should be the end of this hand. It is really tough for Modest to continue. No diamond.
And he's going to take down another pot, extend his chip lead. Darren Elias looks down at an awful 6-3. Even he can't play that.
David, meanwhile, with ace-queen in the small blind. He's still pretty deep with Modest, like 60 blinds deep here, so he's going to start by limping, and I like that he's balancing by limping strong hands as well as weak ones here. Modest with ace-8 suited has a strong hand himself and makes it 350,000.
David, coming over the top. Makes it $1 million total.
Nice limp re-raise here from David, getting more money in with the best hand, and Modest is too strong to fold. Getting a pretty good price in position with a suited ace. So we'll go to this flop with over $2 million in the middle.
Ace-queen versus ace-8. Here we go. It's a nothing flop. 10-7-5 helps neither player.
Helps neither player, and therefore is better for David, the aggressor, than Modest.
David. He's going to make a bet of $1 million.
His ace-8 of diamonds is going to have difficulty continuing here. I think if there were a diamond out there, we'd see him call once, but without it, not a lot he can do.
Not at all. David Baker just going to take that pot down, and it's a good one.
David feeling himself tonight. Got a couple of tough young players in his way, but right now he is the man to beat, looking down at ace-king of spades.
He is going to make it 300 to go. Manis goes out.
And David has used this big pre-flop sizing before. We saw him do it with king deuce suited. So Darren doesn't know for certain that he's got some strong hand just because he's sizing up, and he uses king 5 offsuit as a bluff 3-bet.
Just can't see through the cards sometimes.
I'm all in.
David with a monster here is going to shove. Darren Elias said, why did I have to get cute? He has to lay that down. David Baker with great momentum now, extending the chip lead.
Play online poker for real cash and prizes at WPT Global. Sign up for free today using bonus code YT33 and get free entry into a $100,000 guaranteed tournament.
He's got a big ace-jack. By the way, he's the third most winningest Lithuanian of all time. I bet you know who's number one, Tony.
Tony G.
That's right.
On your bike, Vince.
Madman himself, Tony G. Darren has made this call with a pair of 5s, and Baker's not going anywhere with the 10 deuce Doyle Brunson hand.
3 ways to this flop. And 8-7-6 is technically best for Darren, but as you see, his opponents with plenty of outs. Checks around on the flop. We see an ace of diamonds on the turn, so Modest takes the lead.
Darren gonna check again. Dave checks. And that's surprising. Doesn't bet, and now that's gonna hurt him because of 4 hits and Darren Elias hitting a straight. Darren is gonna trap here, it appears. He checks. Dave's gonna check, and now let's see if the trap's gonna work. Make Mattis bet. And he's going to bet 350.
Trying to get some value one street too late here.
Very steady and stoic. Darren Elias makes it 1.2 million. Mattis is trying to figure this out. Oh, Mattis has to lay that down. He's kicking himself for making that river bet.
Now the LA Poker Classic remains one of the most prestigious events on the tournament circuit. Attracts a field containing the best players in the world year after year. Generates a 7-figure first prize. These 3 battling it out for just over $1 million.
Darren Elias, 4-time WPT champ, quickly folds. David Baker now with a 6-5 just calling. And Mattis and Ballas, Jack 3. We'll look at the flop ace, 3 deuce, 2 clubs. Mattis getting 3s there. David's gonna check. And Mattis will bet this, 125.
David has just enough hand here with a gut shot to the nuts and a backdoor flush draw to continue. He could even check raise bluff sometimes, but this time opts to call.
7 on the turn. David, he's going to check. Mattis still in front.
Mattis has a hand that's likely to be good, but still vulnerable and needs protection.
He's going to bet 275.
And this is a good bet. It stops David from drawing to 10 outs on the river.
Tomatas. Win this, man. The only team.
Should be 75, 150. 75, 125, he said. 125.
Coming in.
Blinds are up, 75,000, 125,000 with a 125,000 big blind ante. I love the big blind ante. Speeds up the game, creates a slightly better price out of the big blind, just creates action.
Mattis this time with a very strong queen jack of diamonds, going to make it 275. Darren folds. David Baker here with jack 4 clubs.
Looks like he's gonna 3-bet here, and I like his choice of hands. He has a blocker in the jack to Mattis having a hand that could shove. Mattis makes the call with queen jack of diamonds.
Flop is an ace, 9 deuce. 2 of the diamonds, so great for Mattis. David's going to put in a big bet of 750 here. Call for Mattis.
This is a good bet from David, even though it won't work. On the ace-9 deuce texture, you're going to want to bet almost all of your 3-betting range, and ooh.
Diamond gets there for Mattis.
David slows down now. Just a gut shot here to a 3, and even that, no good against Mattis's flush.
Mattis is going to check. I like this trap play, but another diamond hits. This could make things interesting.
That may inspire David to bluff. Yeah, he's going to go for this, and I like it. He can't win at showdown. He's going to have some diamonds here that needed to shut down on the turn, but want to bet for value. And Mattis will have an ace without a diamond a fair bit of the time and will be forced to fold. So I like what David is thinking here, but I doubt that Mattis, especially after getting bluffed in that big pot earlier where he folded trip kings on the river, is in the mood to make another big fold.
It's going to take more time here. The problem is, David, you know he doesn't have an ace of diamonds because he'd have betted on the turn.
That's right, David would have bet the turn a lot. Ace of diamonds here.
So he makes the good call.
You got me.
Thing of beauty, David, saying you got me.
Trappy!
One of these 3 pros tonight gonna walk away as a WPT champion. Modest Symbolist has 1 title, Darren Elias 4, David Baker chasing his first.
Flop is a king 10-8. Baker not hitting anything, but he's going to bet it. 375. Darren getting a piece of that with the 8s. Will make this call. 5 on the turn. Darren's going to check again.
I liked David's flop bet, but I think he should slow down on this turn most of the time. He will have a lot of hands with equity going to the river that can and should bluff here, but he's reaching.
He is relentless. Betting 750 this time.
And this bet gets even worse when you can't make your opponent fold bottom pair on the flop. Darren, undeterred, makes the call.
Good call by Darren. He's feeling it here. 4 on the river.
Now I actually wouldn't hate a 3rd barrel from David. He blocks the 7-6 straight. He's got the strong kings in his range, and Darren doesn't.
Check.
8.
Tough to fire 3 bullets into Darren Elias, and Darren with just 8s will take down this pot. Darren wakes up with King Jack, has raised, and David right behind him with Ace 10. He's going over the top to 950.
He's bluffing, but he's doing it with a hand that can continue pretty well should Darren call in position. And here with King Jack, it does look like Darren wants to make the call.
Nice pot brewing here.
Modest is smiling at the possibility of these two playing a stack-sized pot.
10-9-8 on the flop. Good flop for Dave Baker.
David checks top pair, top kicker over to Darren. So he flops strong, but he's very vulnerable here. And Darren gets a great flop for his range and his hand. Is going to bet here for 900,000.
What will ODB do here?
I'm all in.
Oh, I love it. Great play from David Baker here. Yeah, sometimes he's going to run into it here. Darren is going to bet most of the hands that can't show down here, and so David denies Darren his equity and rips it in while he's still good.
Deeply disappointed, but Darren Elias has to lay that hand down.
Play online poker for real cash and prizes at WPT Global. Sign up for free today using bonus code YT33 and get free entry into a $100,000 guaranteed tournament.
Quick fold by Darren. David Baker has called it, and now Mattis. He'll make it 450 to go.
David coming along with his queen 10 from the small blind. And we see a flop of 9 jack 9, 2 spades. Not a great flop for Modest's hand, so he will check back here. David open-ended, but the ace of diamonds on the turn will put Modest way out in front. Aces and nines. How much does he want to bet? 750, so Modest betting on the larger side. I like the sizing of his bet here. Hard to bet the river again and get value from a jack, but you do want to charge the many draws in David's range a premium to get to the river. David? He's kind of locked up by that bet size, forced to fold his draw. So Modest takes that one down. Adds a little distance between himself and David Baker. Darren Elias, just above 20 blinds.
Yeah, things are going good for Madison Ballas. His fiancée Greta is in the audience, and they say anything he wins here tonight is going to the wedding.
Anything he wins, that's going to be an epic wedding.
Way to spend it, Mattis.
David Baker with ace-4 here on the button will open our action. We'll make it 375, still using the large raise sizing.
1.7.
He's going over the top to 1.7. Into Darren Elias, who picks up the perfect hand at the perfect time. The Cowboys, pair of kings.
This is unfortunate for Modest. He's put over half of Darren's stack in, so there will be no folding when Darren commits his chips.
All in.
Finally does what we knew was going to happen. Goes all in with his shortest stack. And now David Baker will get out of the way. And Mattis, of course, makes his call with his king, jack of diamonds.
It's about as good as it gets with pocket kings. Your opponent doesn't even have an overcard.
Let's go, Mattis.
All you need to do is dodge a straight or flush or an improbable trips.
You got me. You think? I was hoping it was worse.
I was hoping it's worse. Get out of here, Darren.
Flop, it is a 9-10-5.
Well, never easy, Vince.
No.
With that flop, Modest has 4 outs to the nuts. Any queen would give him a king-high straight.
Well, this would get ugly fast if Darren should get drawn out here, going to the turn.
Ooh, an 8 on the turn. Modest now open-ended. So any queen or 7. 8 clean outs for Modest to eliminate Darren Elias in 3rd place.
Greta and the rail standing up. They'd love to see this suck out and break Darren Elias right now. Going down to the river. It's a safe 10 for Darren Elias. He will double up. The former lifeguard swims happily away.
Well, that's that. Good sweat.
Down to the felt we go, Darren Elias. First to act looks at a 9-3, quickly mucks. David Baker has a pretty solid king jack off suit, and he will just call it.
Check.
Mattis with a 7 deuce of hearts elects to see 3 cards. The flop is a 3-3 deuce.
Pretty favorable from Mattis's big blind checking range. But David here elects to bet out with his king high. Mattis with 2 pair and a backdoor flush draw is going to put in a raise and make it 450,000.
Fold by David Baker. So these guys waste no time. They just keep pushing, applying pressure when they think they're in front, challenging each other to a very high level. And action's on Baker. He has raised it now to 375 with a jack 7. Mattis with a 4-5 of diamonds has gone out. And Darren, ace 6 of clubs, makes this call.
Queen 6 deuce on the flop. Good board for Darren's ace 6.
Darren's going to check to Dave.
Not much for David here, but a good texture for him to continuation bet. And he does fire 300,000.
Darren going to make that call.
5 on the turn is a pretty good card for Darren's range out of the big blind here. And we've seen this pattern where David continues to bet on the turn against Darren in spots where he really has no equity. And here he's continuing with that theme, 850,000 from David.
Trying to say maybe he has a queen something. He did raise before the flop, so it's not a gimme call, but Darren very shrewdly makes his call with just the 6s. And that's got to hurt if you're Dave Baker. What do I have to do to shake this guy loose? 4 hearts on the river.
Here, I wouldn't mind a triple barrel from David. He's got a very relevant blocker, but he gives up.
6.
So Darren gets the best of David again. Continues to make small pairs out of the big blind and call down against his aggressive opponent.